I don't want to waste my time doing emotes.
Gamers get mad, Tarnished. It seems that no matter what you do in Elden Ring, you will always have a seething little snake telling you that you're doing things wrong. It doesn't matter if you beat them or not, they will always find a reason to call you names in order to let off their steam.
Absolutely agree.
Oh, that's a controller break.
That's unfortunate.
In today's episode of Things That Make People Lose Hair, we explore an ancient technique that predates Elden Ring, but managed to become largely hated and infamous in the early days of the Lands Between. You see, like with pretty much anything in the past, such as Rivers of Blood and Moonvale, the hate for shield poking heavily outlived its days of glory. So even though it is a shadow of its former self, it will still make people mad. But why is this? What was shield poking like, and why did it make people so mad? Now let's take a look at one of the most hated builds in the history of Elden Ring, Fingerprint Stone Shield poking. Have you ever utilised shields during your initial journey, Tarnished? It doesn't necessarily have to be your first expedition through the Lands Between. It could be your maiden voyage through Lordran, Drangleic, or even Lotharic. Shields have consistently played a crucial role in the Souls core gameplay since its inception. They serve as a supportive tool on your left hand, primarily employed to block or repel incoming enemy attacks. By pressing the L1 button while equipped with a shield in your left hand, your character raises the shield, enabling you to fend off incoming monkey mashes at the cost of a portion of your stamina bar per hit. If you run out of stamina while blocking, your guard will be broken and you will be left vulnerable to critical hits. How much stamina is lost on each blocked attack depends on the guard boost of the shield. What attacks bounce off a shield depends on the type of shield you're using: small, medium, or great shield. Additionally, if your shield happens to be a small or medium shield, pressing the L2 button instead triggers the parry animation, allowing you to deflect enemy attacks and exploit their vulnerability for a critical hit. In Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, these were the sole functions of a shield: protection and parrying, with a few exceptions, like the Havel shield, which, transformed you into the Rock. Dark Souls 3 introduced weapon arts, such as Shield Bash, which expanded the utility of great shields. However, one aspect of shields has remained relatively consistent throughout the series: the ability to block attacks while thrusting with a thrusting type weapon. This phenomenon has affectionately been coined as shield poking. Shield poking is a relatively simple technique. Tarnished, you equip a shield on your left hand and a thrusting sword on your right hand. Hold L1 and press R1 to poke through the shield, effectively blocking incoming attacks while dealing damage. On paper, it may seem like an optimal strategy, but unless you were running a dedicated build, the risk of running out of stamina and getting guard broken was too high. However, with the release of Elden Ring, things changed. In Elden Ring, there is a unique great shield called the Fingerprint Stone Shield. Currently boasting a 77% guard boost, which is quite significant, but let's talk about the past instead. Before patch 1.07, this shield was absolutely monstrous. The guard boost was off the charts, making it extremely difficult to guard break. At the same time, Ashes of Wars like Kick, which is used for guard breaking, had not yet been buffed. Additionally, this shield could be further enhanced with spells or grease. Using Scholar's Shield on this shield granted it a 100% guard boost, meaning you wouldn't lose any stamina while blocking. And as you can imagine, this made shield poking incredibly frustrating. Combine this rotten strat with a thrusting sword infused with bleed or fricking madness spear, and you have a nightmarish build to contend with. As an added bonus, the Fingerprint Stone Shield can be infused with Ashes of War and has an innate madness build-up. This means it can inflict both bleed and madness simultaneously if you infuse it properly. So if you're an over-leveled phantom fighting low-level invaders with your low-level host, things can get very nasty. For example, you could potentially inflict one-hit bleed or trigger both madness and bleed effects at once due to their low resistances. As you may have guessed, people were extremely displeased with this garbage, and the community created numerous videos in an attempt to discover effective counters for it. But even after extensive testing, There was no counter that required the same minimal mental effort as shield poking did. All of the potential counters were either risky, such as using the parry move,
Get out of here.
or were a 50-50 chance at best, like the Bloodhound poking technique where either player could come out victorious.
This is a real human being! What a f***ing legend! Oh!
Skill was definitely not a factor when it came to using fingerprint shield poking, and gamers were fed up with it. That's why in patch 1.07, fingerprint shield poking was significantly nerfed. The inherent guard boost of the shield was reduced to 77% as a starting point, and shield poking was severely altered. This time, whenever you blocked an attack while poking, you would suffer massive stamina damage, rendering mindless monkey mashing ineffective. This effectively put an end to the rampant use of shield poking, as now players needed to possess more than just basic cognitive abilities to utilize this build. Nowadays, dealing with shield poking is not too difficult, and I believe everyone is aware of this. Or, maybe not. But in case you need tips to deal with it, here's what you can do, Tarnished. First and foremost, it is essential to equip the Hammer Talisman, as it significantly increases the damage to an opponent's stamina with each hit. Do not hesitate to engage in trades if you believe the enemy's stamina is not fully replenished, as even a single hit during shield poking can result in a guard break. The Ash of War's kick move is capable of guard breaking with just one hit, provided you successfully land it.
Oh, fuck.
Additionally, scythes, bloodhound claws, shotels, and ashes of war like impaling thrust or piercing fang can bypass 40% of shield protection. Lastly, a well-executed parry will swiftly neutralize any monkey masher with ease. If you haven't tried shield poking before the nerf and think it is not worth to do it now, I suggest you still give it a go, Tarnished. It still is a viable way to play and requires quite a bit of skill and stamina management to pull off efficiently. Plus, you will always find a moulding Neanderthal ready to send you hate mail, and that is always a win in my book.
Perfect, good job. Good job.
Huge thanks to Trevor Holtz for commissioning this video on our Patreon. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like, a comment, and share it with friends. Consider subscribing to OnlyWaifu for more content like this. Eat all of your vegetables tonight, Tarnished, and as always, thanks for watching.